line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet, not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's race day. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in my head.
If there ever was a statement that could be best said about these racetracks is that it's a wonderful day for some hard racing to follow, I think Madison, Illinois today has got that situated. Welcome to Worldwide Technology Raceway in Madison, Illinois. It is time for your showcase of the GOAT Racing League Sim 500 Truck Series, presented by Sim 500 Racing League here on PC Racing TV. Hello again, everyone. I am the Crusader Christian Schreiber, joining you guys back on the show here. It is a lovely day here, fans, and with 120 laps and 23 heavy-hitting drivers coming on the track, I can only even imagine what we've got in store for you. Let's take a look at our starting lineup today, though. And on the pole, he's back again, the Reign of Terror, the number 19, Tyler Dalton, the outside. In the 30, Brian V. Macklin. Row number 2, in the 20, it is Doy Woods. The outside, number 4, it is Glenn Campbell. Row number 3, Wesley Donaldson. The 91, the outside. And the 62 is Lucas Gordman. Row number 4 is Anthony M. Calatani. And the 84, the outside. In the number 60, that is John Hickman Jr. And row number 5, it is Shannon 102. The outside, the 12, Aaron Action Jackson. Row number 6 is Jack Coleman. In the 5, the outside. And the 7, it is Scott Simley. in row number 7. It is Charles Van Striking the 23 to the outside, and the 75. It is Alan the Wild Man Wild. Row number 8, Cody Sturgill on the 24 to the outside. The number 8 is Maurice Burnett. Row number 9, the 11 is Ron Holyfield, the outside. The 41, E.J. O'Rourke. Row number 10 is Tommy Ryan, the 99, the outside. The 43, it will be Samuel Hodrell. Row number 11 is the 97 and Jeff Remsdale, the outside. The 35, Jeff Ryan. Final starter today in the 42, Dakota Kramer. Hot shot, hot fight, and it's time to race. Here we are. Well, race fans, a beautiful day for racing, so how about it? I see some names in here I haven't seen in quite a while, so this should be an interesting one. The heavy hitters about to take aim and take shape. Who will take it to the house? We're about to find out. 120 laps to distance. Stage number 1 begins. Stage number 1 is going to be a 25 lap deal with lap 60. The marker to watch out for. Well, these two right here may be their kryptonites. The Navy Brat 30, Brian V. Macklin. The 7500 Reign of Terror himself, Tyler Dalton. Both drivers this season, it's about as equal as you can even get to be in terms of scope, in terms of variety. But yet they still are as close as they come in terms of the wins list, in terms of how far they've come along. As you see drivers continuing trying to find paths and opportunities, trying to find some openings out of the gate. They're not going to get a whole lot of chances here due to the prominence of how tough it is to make their way around. 4 wins this season. Brian V. Macklin right now stands on top of it all by 2 points. Tyler Dalton with 3 wins here as a 3-wide salute ensues. John Hickman Jr. down there in the number 60 having a little shootout there with NAM Calatani back there, while Lucas Gortman making his return to the show, coming out of the blue with those drivers right behind him, just hammering down. E.J. O'Rourke not too far behind, and who could blame him? Macklin did tell me earlier today, too, that frankly he has been trying to make sure he keeps everybody in check, keeps everything on line for himself. With those 4 wins, he knows he's got more on his plate than he ever has before. And with drivers like this guy coming right behind you, trying to fight out each position, I think this could be the battle or fates here. If you know Star Wars, you know that reference. But speaking of fates, looks like a wild man having a little bit of a facious action. He gets sent into the grassy plains. He opened up his own lawn care service, and the wild man now falling back. Early a mistake there for him, but thankfully he is going to have time to make back from it. You're on board with the number 7, Scott Simley. Brian Spence coming on board, says, okay, let's go, Sammy. Good to have you back on board here, Brian. I mentioned this name earlier on. I think it's time I go into a little history with you guys. Lucas Gorman, one of the first drivers I've ever ran into in terms of racing and broadcasting. He's been on many leagues, in many forms, many areas. This guy is no joke. He will take you to the limit, and he knows how to fight it out with the best of them. He's driving the McConey Setup Shop number 62 today, looking to try to set the bar high and set these drivers to a whole nother standard. Tyler Dalton, by the way, taking the race lead away from Macklin. Macklin already trying to deliver the Mac attack to the 19. Does not want Dalton running away for this one. Running it back down low. Macklin, though, problems off turn number 2. And this track already starting to give a little bit of a headache to some of these guys. You're probably wondering, oh, well, why is it so flat down there? Like, is there any bankings? Well, there is a little bit of banking, but here's the deal. This is a very unique racetrack. And if you really think I'm not being honest here, take a look at this. Look at how wide down in 3 and 4 it is to the corner. But then when you get over to 1 and 2, let's just say you better know how to use your brake. Look at how sharp that corner is right there. Just 1 and 2. into 3 and 4 and how they have to maneuver through that. That's how tough this track is. And yeah, as soon as we pull up our graphic card presented by Sim 500 Racing League, this is probably as close as you can get to another Darlington. It's not as wide bank, it's not as high bank, but it's a pretty much double groove at best track, one groove at your absolute best track. It's really only meant for the toughest and the bravest drivers to know how to manufacturally deal with the pressure of a truck in their hands, and then also the raw power of having to maneuver through this kind of speedway. I always like calling tracks drivers tracks, race big hard racing tracks. This is certainly one of those. And Doy Woods, the number 28 Furniture Road Machine, he's talked a lot of smack, he's talked a lot of talk. He's been trying so desperately to get these guys to know and acknowledge his name, and only one win to his name, which was not in the Truck Series, as a matter of fact, but rather it was in the Cup Series. He got only one win there. He's been desperately trying to figure out how to get that win in the truck division as soon as possible and hope for the best. But in order to do so, he's been trying to figure out just how to get around everyone else. This guy right here, though, he knows a thing or two about trying to win on these dirt truck races. This guy right here won at Martinsville, and probably the best way possible by out-racing everyone, and then, of course, knowing when and where to use the old Chrome Dome. Calatani, though, probably one of the cleaner and harder racers I've seen in terms of scope, in terms of how he races. He's already trying to do it again as the Talking Giants versus the World is truly against the world again, with Tommy Ryan right behind him. And Tommy, he's another guy, too, that has shown great promise and great speed. But other than his win at Dover, I think he's honestly kind of been a little bit of a letdown in terms of like how far he can truly take to the tracks. But this is a track I think might play into his favor a little bit. I think he can get at least the top 5 out of that. He's got speed already. He's up 8 spots, by the way. He started in 19th. He's in 11th, in 12th, ranging around there. Oh, if he just stops heading around with Calatani down there on turn number 2. Oh my. Calatani get a nasty, nasty little hit there from him. I don't know if that was just getting the truck loose or if that was a little intentional. Either way, Ryan had no qualms about getting out of there and pushing himself to the limit. Fires on all cylinders and fires everything right back at him. That's exactly what he had to do just to try to make this work. And now he currently configures the track out. One thing I've always taught with these kind of races is play where the race lies. Where does the track configure to? And how well do you configure your strengths up to that kind of racing style? Can you stick to what you know best quickly, or do you try to force your hand into something you don't want to be in? To me, Aaron Action Jackson, this whole season's been basically, he's just been forcing himself into so many areas he really shouldn't be in, and he's been just constantly trying to figure out how to get better on the track. I suspect, though, down the road, he may be able to start figuring things out more. Back up to the front right now. Gortman now falling a spot down there. He started in 6th, currently in 7th here. Chad Coleman 5 spots up in the 5. No shock there for the adrenaline shock number 5. And Coleman, again, this season, I kind of called him the best driver to not win a race for a long time. I now have to throw that out the window just a couple of weeks ago because he did get the win he was looking for. Taking down a lot of heavy guns in that one, but he knew how to erase them and he knew how to play his strategy in. And again, he knows what to do when he needs to and where to really perform when he has to. But I think the biggest issue is always going to be laying in with how long before, he gets a little too ahead of himself or a little too on the verge or the edge of it. It's hard to really say sometimes. Tyler Dawn right now currently leading the field out, though. Man, is he absolutely putting on the speed, putting on the raw power here. Back on board here with the 19 here as the train service machine. probably just already messed the name up again. I always call it TSN service, and I know I am messing up still on that so often. Someone finally yelled at me on the broadcast saying, no, it's like trans service, I believe. So there's a lot of sponsors out there, guys. I apologize in advance. I just go off what I see in the name, so. Kind of clipping their way back on the round, though. Dalton's just a huge lead here already in stage 1, but again, it's only stage 1. He still has to get through 2 more stages before he can flick this one up as a win. But I think his goal today is really what Macklin kind of pointed out last week, which is he's out to try and get the same amount of wins and out to continue his reign of terror as much as he can. Macklin's dominated, though, in the truck series when he doesn't get completely told out, whereas Dalton's always been kind of struggling to kind of push back on it because the truck just doesn't allow it to do it sometimes. And right now, battling back on the front straightaway here, Shannon Wood, the 0-2. Looking for the inside run. He's going to get a great corner off the exit, but he's going to have a very tough little spot there. There's a very slippery little edge of the track there off corner number 2. It's a bit of a flat spot. And it gets that truck rallied up and ruffled up. As you switch into your next gear, you're going from third to fourth back in that gear. And it just ruffles up the truck so much, it's hard to control it. But again, that's the beauty of this track. That's the tough nature of it. The aspect is very simple. You drive to figure it all out. You hear Jackson there. Notice how smooth he had to fall off. And then notice as he gets back in the throttle, he's not trying to over accelerate. He's waiting for the right time to get back in it. That truck will get very annoyed with him if he tries it there. I think what's just amazing to me, though, is the fact that they are having to shift in as much as they are. On a track that's about 1.3 miles, I believe. I think this is a first and third a mile. And looks like some trouble down there. Unfortunately, Ron Holyfield in the 11 coming to a dead stop in front of, it looks like, Alan Wild. So that will pretty much end his day. Ron Holyfield has called the caution out. So first caution of the day, unfortunately. We're going to be looking at that replay here as they're going to be setting themselves up pretty much for the essential green-white checker here on a stage break. So let's take a look at the replay. See if Ron just maybe got a little tag here, a little love. Well, I got into the wall there. Not sure if he jammed it in there with Van Schijk there. We'll see if we can take a look here. He got in the wall here. Well, he's nowhere near him. Yeah, oh, there it is, right there. Yep. Just blasted that wall there. He had no control of it once he slammed the wall. The tires were just turned dead right, which you know that's a problem right there. So Ron, unfortunately, Cup Series winner this season, has not done the same in trucks, and the trucks right now not being too kind to him. Look at that stack of group here going into pit road. Lucas Portman, Shannon Wood, John Hickman Jr., Tommy Ryan. Looks like Charles Van Schaik's also going to go in there, probably to clip up some of the damage there, I presume. See a little bit of that right side got tore up there on the McDonald's 23. A lot of stakes on the line, a lot of playing fields to deal with here. And I got a feeling it'll just continue to be that way as we go along with this race. So right now from pit roads, everyone just kind of playing to their strengths, playing to where they need to be. Probably tempoing the throttle as well, I would say, at this point. So drivers right now just kind of getting squared up back in their paces. Caution lights still on. We're going to be getting them all rallied up again. You can see the cars coming around the back straightaway. This is a little bit out in the middle of nowhere, so I believe what they'll do is they're going to have at least 1 or 2 laps. They're going to have probably like a green-white checker there from what I'm seeing, because they'll be on lap 22. When they come to restart, it'll be lap 23, so they need 2 more. I wonder, is Macklin going to try to drive extremely aggressively on Dalton to make sure he can get ahead of him before it's too late to try to steal some stage points? Wesley Donaldson kind of hanging around back there too, man. That's one guy I think I really would be a little bit careful of. The WBD tie-cast guy. Last couple nights ago, I should say, had last time out really performed in a crazy amount of hard racing stake there for what he could get out of that Cup car at Watkins Glen. And this being kind of a braking track and a shifting track, he's already kind of setting himself up for whatever he can think of. He qualified in 5th. He's looking to try to bring it here. Caution lights off for this one. Stage 1 still needing to be finished up. Good luck at the drivers back there hanging around. Everyone's still looking to try to make or break their race. Bring him right back on around out of turn number 4 here. Set to our green flag restart zone. And the 7500 Truck Series boys back at it. We got a couple laps remaining here at stage number 1. Well, was today surprised what Dalton was going to do? He's already trying to get away from Macklin. He knows he had to brake pretty hard there. Coming right off that corner there. Everyone jumping through the turns, trying to hold the line down. Macklin still a good number of feet back there from Dalton. Looking to put on the transducer and put the speed to life. Got him on the corner there. Get a little bit of run off that turn 3 and 4. And look at him. Put it right to him. He's looking for the inside. Trying to fight quick. Meanwhile, everyone else behind him. In a whole different world. Macklin drives wide on the outside. He's going to try to corner it back in. Not enough time there. Getting a big run down that back straightaway though. Might have a shot here. This is his last chance to try to steal stage points from Dalton. Gonna clear him off down through turn number 4. No give, no zone. Tyler Dalton, your stage number 1 winner. Stage winner yet again, the Reign of Terror himself. I wonder if he ever gets annoyed at me saying that so often. I wouldn't say it so often if he didn't keep winning all the darn time, but man, he is literally a Reign of Terror to these drivers, and I think these guys probably would agree. Beating him is like winning the lottery sometimes. For guys like Macklin, though, I think it's just kind of a second wind in nature and kind of a feel-good moment. Kind of charging through a hard charger of this one. EJ O'Rourke in the 41, the personal comfort machine. 14 spots up, qualified 18th, currently up the binder and up the charts. Will he be able to continue that on? We shall see. Nevertheless, though, very, very interesting start for all these drivers here out of the gate. Some making or breaking some situations, some just kind of getting a little too overzealous and just kind of not figuring out where they wanted to play it at. It's hard to say right now, like, who is got the fair advantage, who's got the best car, or truck, whatever you want to call it here. But I can tell you right now, those that didn't go to pit road, they are going to have a field day. try to keep an eye on our pit road stats there. Look at how many trucks that the leaders are going to have to maneuver through here on the restarts. And again, this is not an easy track to master. You're constantly braking, you're constantly cornering off, you're constantly turning it in as much as you can. This is absolutely going to force many people and many drivers into probably the toughest ordeal they can, and probably, in my opinion, probably going to be one of their hardest acts to follow, barring from like a Martinsville race or barring from like a Dover race. And out of pit road first, Doywood's going to get the bunch on him. Dalton going to come out second, Macklin third, Donaldson fourth, O'Rourke going to go fifth, Coleman sixth, Jackson out seventh, eighth Sturgill, ninth Simley, and Alan Weil getting your top 10 spot out of that one. Very eye-opening strategies here again from these drivers. Now, of course, we look at our repairs today. We've got no fast repairs, 2 green-white checkers. They have a 75% fuel limit window, but 3 extra sets of tires. That could play into a factor here. Now, I don't want to try and speculate whether or not it would work. It's a matter of, can it work? Because here's the deal. Right now, the way they're structured, the way they're set up, they currently are at a bit of a standstill here. They are facing the tough opposition, the tough competition of maneuvering through the track with a aerodynamic dependent truck, having to also figure out how to then to shift through and then not spin the tires around off the corners exits of turn 2 and turn 4. But also making sure you have enough speed to kind of hold the line down and keep your runoff from the drivers that are trying to get you there. Do you see like how tough it is sometimes in racing, and much less let alone just actually perform this kind of stuff? James Skinner comes on board, says, Talking Giants versus the world. I knew you guys were around here somewhere. We will lead our drivers back down on around. They're ready to get at it here again. You gotta believe right now too, those that went into pit road when they did, now having to figure out the strategy, know they're gonna be at least one stage break off from making a good use of their equipment, good use of trying to make the passes here. I think that adds kind of the level of deposition, like the other frustration factor that kind of sets itself into these kind of races. So here we go, race fans. Back onto the route, back on the charge. Start them out of the green flag restart zone. Let's get at it again. Beautiful start there for Glenn Campbell, the number 4, as he drives it right on along. Lucas Gorman and John Hickman Jr. trying to catch up with him. Hickman Jr. already forcing Gorman to try to make a mistake early on. Again, I know Gorman too well, though. He won't be easy to kind of toy with. He'll fight you quick as you try to mess with him. But with him being new to the league, also, I kind of wonder, is he going to try to be a little bit more careful? Is he going to try to be a little less aggressive and not make enemies? I don't know. Hard to really say sometimes with him. flanking him right down around off that turn number 4 there. Again, Hickman Jr. and Gortman still at it. Shannon Wood right behind him in the 0-2, though. They're looking to try to make a little bit of room for it. See, Wood too, man. He's getting a lot of run there in the corners. He's trying to build something up there. Just can't quite get the truck to make the corner pass when he needs it to. Coming right back on around right now, the Reign of Terror, Tyler Dalton, and the Rat Attack, the Rat Attack, the Mac Attack, whatever you want to call him, the Navy Brat himself, Brian V. Macklin, scooting through the field. Meanwhile, EJ O'Rourke right there on their tail as well, and you know with him, he's as aggressive as they come. But hey, sometimes aggression gets you where you need to. Whoa, EJ O'Rourke there getting a little bit loose there, getting a little bit of troublesome off that corner, having some problems down there. Coming right back around now, Chad Coleman in the mix on the outside lane there in the 91 of Wesley Donaldson trying to stick with it as well. Big jumps to the front, big battles off the hacks here, and everybody right now just trying to get something kind of coiled up their way. Hard to do though, again, when you drive a little bit too aggressive there. Even there you see right there, that's what I was talking about earlier, having to try to narrow down those two different turns. That truck will not corner off as much as you want it to, and a massive mistake by the 60 of Hickman Jr. Whoa, hold on there, Hickman. Oh, my word. He's getting more loose than I usually do when it comes to getting out from the gym and having a massage table set my way. He is not keeping that thing online, and he is not holding himself stable. He is really trying this thing as much as he can, but it will not hold. Oh, my goodness. Back on around out of turn number 4 here. Well, at this point, really, was there any surprise? Glenn Cable right now could be watching that back mirror like a hawk right now. I'm going to be dead honest with you there. He is currently trying to face off, trying to deal with all the pressure that's coming his way. Gortman, nothing he can do about those two maniacs. A Reign of Terror and a Mac Attack. I don't know if that's even a joke you could even say in a bar these days. Well, anyway, back on the show here. Glenn Campbell right now currently trying to keep the Trans Service number 4 away from that number 19 there, Tyler Dalton, and the 30 of Brian V. Macklin. Knows both of those guys are going to be trying to hunt down those points. Stage points really crucial. And this is the reason why now. Dalton, he's skewing. He's poaching the bear a little bit. He knows he's got an opening. And he doesn't have to wait long either. He's only got 60. He only has to get to lap 60 here. So he's already trying, as he may, to just push his limits up and push himself on down there. Scrattling along right now. Look at O'Rourke there, getting a little bit hated there with Gortman. It's Coleman also kind of sneaking his way around it there. Both drivers right now just kind of teasing and poking around, seeing what's up there. And occasionally getting a little bumper in there. Coleman didn't quite get O'Rourke though, but he sure was poking in there. He's kind of peeking a little. He just didn't want to knock him sideways or knock him out senseless. That's just, I think that was just a nice gesture. Oh, look at this. Now Macklin, he's getting tired of waiting. Look at him. He's trying to drive that thing in the inside of Dalton. And Dalton realizes now Macklin's not going to exactly leave him alone trying to make that pass for the lead either. Did that scare Dalton to make the move here? I think it did. The Reign of Terror dives in low. Glenn Campbell going to try to squeeze him down just enough through 3 and 4. Dalton has the momentum. Macklin sideswipe, sneaks to the inside. Now he comes down for it, but he can't quite get the pass on Glenn. Oh my, that is some racing right there, my friends. Beautiful corner down and beautiful battle back between it, but Dalton is your new leader. He's returned to the race lead. Gorman, welcome to the show, bud, and may we introduce you to EJ O'Rourke. Oh my. O'Rourke has made no bones about it. He's aggressive, and he just got to show Gorman he's not afraid to use it. Look at this going down 3 wide. Look out, Coleman going in the middle now. Back to the bottom. Corners it down. Nice pass there. Donaldson right in the mix as well. And O'Rourke right into the wall. Slammed right off that turn number 4 wall. Got to us tight off the corner. Coleman driving it right onto him, and it makes him about to pass right in. Oh my. Oh, now O'Rourke getting a little side skirt from Donaldson. He's not making very many friends this season, has he? Oh my goodness, goodness gracious, folks. This has been some racing to call, and we're not even halfway done with it yet. Galatani jumping right back in. Hickman Jr. just, man, you can tell at this point he's already lost. He's just trying to get the truck tightened up. The crew's down there telling him what is going on, and he's yelling in the truck, I have no steering to corner this thing off with my tire. My tire is shot, I'm fried, and I think at this point I've about had it with this place. He still has one more full stage to go. I think honestly one track, one little adjustment, he may be able to get it figured out down there. But again, the only thing really he can do is the brake bias, and that's about it. The tires stay the same way, and everything else does not change. And with only three extra sets of tires, you got the one tire you set up with, and then the extra 3 for later on. So right now, currently, the Mack Attack trying to get the Reign of Terror back, and unfortunately not quite working out his way. EJ O'Rourke down there having massive problems, gone off track a couple times now. He's fallen back away from his racing periods here, and I think at this point he's just trying to find a place to run and hide off to. He's had a lot of issues down there just trying to keep that truck online and trying to keep it out of the mess. I think a lot of that may have been from the side skirts and side swipes he took. Definitely has got to be feeling a bit of that, and probably the troublesome slights he's been dealing with here. field at this point right now, just probably just trying to figure out when and where and what to do with the struggles they've been facing in the fights they've been getting into here. Glenn Campbell at this point here is trying to just keep every little bit of speed he can get. I mean, right now he's doing a great job of it. He's only got 10 laps left before, or excuse me, 11 laps left before he has to kind of think about pit stops and stuff. And O'Rourke back down in the grass. That may be trouble. Oh, hey, can he hang on? He's slowed down a lot. I don't know if they'll get that a caution. I think they'll let him stay. Go. Yep, they're still green. That was close. O'Rourke, though, it's not 2020 no more, my friend. You don't have to open up your own lawn care service to make some money these days. Or be like me and just start your own broadcasting service with my boss. That's my best friend. So, oh well. Charles Van Schaik right now currently dealing with Jeff Ramsdell, and Van Schaik honestly unusually slow today. I say unusually because when was the last time you ever heard Van Schaik not really able to keep up the pressure in a cup or a truck these days? Like, this is a guy that always I said, like, I got mad at because he never really qualified well, but his speed would be so ridiculously good on the long run. Like, I don't know even what the heck is going on here. I don't know. We'll have to see later on. Maybe that's just him playing joke here or what else he's doing, but nevertheless, the field's still stretching along and coming down in. So right now, Dalton about a half a second back here of Macklin, just to kind of see like where we're at right now. Let's look at the times here. We've got about 5. We're gonna have about 6 laps remaining when they come around this time by. Dalton right now is only getting relatively a little speed off in the corners there, but again, he's really losing a little bit too on the straightaways because of that draft package that Macklin's getting off him. The aerodynamics of the truck kind of hold him in there. This time, though, at least corner-wise, Dalton did get a little bit more speed there, so could be a bit of an upset here. Macklin just kind of doesn't control it. I gotta believe, too, he's probably paying close attention to how close every driver is from one another and how close he is to his own situation. I'd also say, though, just being in a top 10 track like this or a race like this, I call that a win-win, honestly. It's so hard to do, and it's almost impossible to do. Ron Holyfield, we saw earlier on with mechanical problems there, got damaged up too badly. He has left the race and he's out of the track. He's out of the race today. Jeff Ryan, not really sure what happened to him. He fell a lot of laps down. John Hickman Jr., we kind of guessed like what happened to him, but everything else, honestly, it's been a pretty smooth race. Right now, it seems like it will continue to be that way as a little battle back and forth here. Calatani having no troubles getting Simley to get a little bit off his hand. Slipping around right now, Aaron Axon Jackson, number 12, currently hanging the top 10 spots here. He's in the 7th position. Gorman falling back to 8th, Simley in 9th, and Calatani in the 10th position here as we're on board with Jackson just for a little bit. One thing I really do like about his strategy here is he's playing to his strengths, which is using momentum where he gets it and keeping the power off when he can get to it. 2 laps to go though. Dalton and Macklin right now running hard and running clean, but right through the dirty air, you still got to think Dalton has got the advantage over Macklin just by a slight bit. Could this literally be another clean sweep for the Reign of Terror himself? I thought honestly he would have more troubles getting through traffic with the way the lap cars were. I was half right, but in this case, I wasn't going all the way right. But with him, can you really blame me? Here he is, ladies and gentlemen, your stage number 2 winner. It'll be Tyler Dalton bringing it home here down the front straightaway. So once again, another striking run and a hard racing battle there for Dalton. Put on quite a performance and put on quite a little show there just to even get up there. But man, did he use his shots well and timed it just right. Glenn Campbell, man, no disrespect to him though. No, nothing taken from him in that race. He gave a great showing in that one. He just came up a little bit short in terms of where his strategy was, where his head was, and where everything played out at. But that could easily change. So, we'll have to see. Time for some interesting pit strategy calls here. Let's see how this one plays out. Nearly everybody went into pit road except for EJ O'Rourke down there, which O'Rourke's trying to get his lap back at this point. Knows he's already kind of lost out on a lot here at this point. Let's see how the pit stops go. Macklin trying to get Dalton. Dalton slightly making a mistake, but because of that first pit stop, well, let's just say that first pit road entry has definitely helped him out. Jar's got to watch going out of pit road too quickly here and get themselves a speeding penalty. They know better. That 41 right now, he's got a lot of problems with that machine. I think he is tore up a little bit, probably finding himself in a very tall order here. That's Jeff Ryan, by the way, number 35 you just seen there. A lot of laps down. He is 12, looks like about 12 laps completely down. It'll be 13 if they got by him here. I think right now he's honestly struggling just to keep up pace and just try to stay out of issues. I think a lot of it has to do with just the fact he kind of got himself damaged up early, got himself into trouble, and then everything else from there just kind of dropped itself on its head. So here we go, race fans. Pace car off this time on by. It is time to finish this race off. Final stage, commence. In Madison, we're about to get down to it. Here we go. We've seen the strategy work well this far, but will it now work in terms of favorable position and favorable run? That's going to be the ultimate question here. There's a lot of spots here to really be using up. There's a lot of area to work around, and I think honestly now with that last bit of fuel they're going to have and that tire wear strategy, it's going to really wear and tear on them. Now you decipher what exactly is the right call. Do you decide to go into pit road a little earlier? Do you decide to go in a little later? Try to stabilize yourself. I think more than anything, we're going to be looking for drivers to be trying to make amends in them, and they're in the corners and their drive lines here. Johnny Walker, number 24 here, there, Cody Sturgill. A guy that, in my opinion, that this season has just not lived up to his standard or his code. Forcing that drive and forcing that position off, looking for every bit he's got. Jeff Ramsdale there on the inside there a little bit. There's the DuPont 97, gets himself a little bit rounded up here. The Wild man himself on Wild. Not letting the Alpha Men broadcast machine get too far out of here. Shannon Wood, the 0-2, now looking deep in the inside corner reins here, looking to try to spew up the speed, spew up the power. Quick drive on the inside there, the 0-2. Shannon Wood desperately trying to find any kind of level up, kind of find speed in there he can. The Real Tree Machine running it quick, running it hard with Gortman, but Gortman again doing his best to defend, but again trying to shoot the outside lane there in 3 and 4 is going to be a lot harder than it looked. It's a very narrow gap there. It's very tough to hit right, but if you get them just right, you can force them a little bit off the edge because there is that little flat spot we talk about so much here. Got about 51 laps remaining here. Now Doy Woods looking to not only show he can run his mouth, but he can also drive with his mouth. He's got a whole lot of speed and corner off on Shannon Wood there as he's on the inside corner panel. Looking to try to soak in that turn, trying to soak in the speed. Big drive off, slightly engaged the inside lane there. Woods almost catching a piece of wood there, but definitely stayed out of trouble. And no, Wood and Woods are two different names, two different drivers, and no relation to my knowledge. Back on the wall there, there's 34 Sturgill right now having a little bit of problems. Jeff Ramsdale trying to intervene, trying to engage down the clutches here. He's having all sorts of issues down there as well. Just trying to watch out for where he can. Dalton right now currently about a full second off. Well, actually, is about a second and 2/10 ahead of Macklin right now. Coleman now catching right up there to him. And again, I think Macklin's just kind of taking it a little bit more on easy mode here. Doesn't want to let loose and let go of what he's doing, but he knows he needs to be pressured and is staying focused on the line, staying focused on his drive, especially with guys like Coleman coming right up on him. Just listen to that throttle rhythm too, man. It is just crazy how smooth they can get those trucks, I should say, to be right where they're at and where they need to be, and then be lined up like that. In that case, it is it's quite the tell, I say. Gorman now, pressure there, being welcomed in by another guy that likes to kind of welcome in the rookies, Doy Woods. I say rookies, I mean really it's new names in town, honestly, but swinging right back around right now. Glenn Campbell here, currently falling into the fifth spot. He was third there in the end of the stage break. Wesley Donaldson, though. Like I said earlier, guys, if there's a guy to watch out for, I think it might be him. I think he might be a bit of a hit sleeper here. I don't think I'm being disproven here. Let's take a look at our best lap times, though, just for time zone here. Let's take a look at it. And you can see right here, 34.57 for Tyler Dalton. Macklin coming in with a 34.55. And really, that's been probably the fastest you can get around here. But the thing is, like, even being the absolute fastest, it's still not enough to be the most controlled fastest out there. But you can take a look at the times here. I've always said before on these broadcasts that, like, sometimes being the fastest driver in terms of one lap speed doesn't make your race or make your best bet. Sometimes you need to absolutely be overly controllative of the long haul speed and hope that it works out in your favor. Otherwise, you're going to really scratch the surface. I'm trying to figure out what to do. Swinging it right around there. Look at this battle back here. Doy Woods. Getting another little shootout between him and Shannon Wood. He's making a jump to the front here. Kyle Tani, though, he's not far behind either. Double in, double side, double drive. Which one makes the best? Oh, wait a minute. Trouble down there. There's trouble. Samuel Harrell has come to a dead stop there, and he is stopped in a very prolific spot. The 483 STP machine bringing out the second caution of the day, and maybe one I don't think that necessarily will be too mindful for drivers like Dalton or Macklin, although I can be very wrong there. But let's take a look at the Pizza Race TV Instant Replay. See what we can see here. Let's see, it came right down the back straightaway. Everything looks okay here. I'm not sure what happened. Well, he's a little loose. Oh, he was going for pit road. That's what it was. Yep. Went for pit road, and around she goes. And Flagman did not like that. Well, okay, I think this is what he really didn't like. Harrell trying to get it restructured and reset, but definitely not the way he intended for that to happen. Glenn gonna play a very risky strategy here, if you ask me. He's staying out. Tyler Dalton and all them into pit road. This is the toughest strategy to have to face off with, is really just trying to figure out when and where was the right time to make your move, when and where was the right spot to do your jump there. Pit rows wise out of the pits. Well, oh boy, this could be bad. 3 wide down. Who's getting the jump? It's gonna be Wild, Coleman, Donaldson, and then Wood down there. Ryan, Gorman, and Ramsdell top 10 out of pit road. Doy Woods, though, actually beating everybody out to the bunch. It looks like 28 actually going back into pit road. Okay, top that. He actually did not go into pit road. My apologies. So Macklin actually beat out Dalton there in pit road. So that is who sets the start. So right now, Glenn going to be playing a very risky strategy here, trying to see if he can outrun the field, run fuel, and everything else. But I think at this point, he's really kind of get himself into more of a troublesome spot than he was doing for good. Whatever his plan was, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a smart move to do. Well, we're going to find out how that strategy works here. They're doubling up and now run the time. Guns loaded. Drivers hauling. And speed about to kick up. Alright, here we go now. Drivers coming off down through turn number 4 to the Sim 500 restart zone. Let's send them back their way to the green flag. We fly. Here we go. Still quite a few laps left here in this one. Opportunities running high. 3 wide through turn number 1 and 2. Coleman shoots the bird. Hits the bird with hit the 2 birds with 1 stone. Drivers right now just trying to keep up their pace. Some more back and forth affairs. Doy Woods getting a little tag off there in the middle. Cuts himself back in. Tyler Dalton immediately back into the race lead. He did not waste any time. Dalton knows what he has to do. But Macklin, I think, knows it as well. If Dalton continued to keep Macklin in that dirty air, I think he honestly has got this one locked up. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's a lot closer than we were seeing earlier, folks, with these drivers out of the gate. Oh, that might be a little too close. Watch out, watch out. Oh no, oh my. Well, Glenn Campbell, I appreciate and salute you for trying something a little different, but I don't think that, unfortunately, was what you had in mind, good sir. Oh my word, he just got Spanished and sentenced to the Shadow Realm, and they didn't even bother leaving him any cookies for it. He just got completely dished here. One more look at here. Wesley Donaldson him hard racing here, but what the heck happened into turn 3, I wonder? Let's see. Look like Coleman. Oh, right there. There it is. Slight little nudge. Got Donaldson. Donaldson, nice save, by the way. And then look at Ramsdale. I was just trying to hold that thing online while I could. Glenn had no chance there, or support, whatever, once he got hit. Yeah, like I say, he was just trying to hold on at that point. Really wasn't much else he could do. I mean, really, what was he going to be able to do in that situation? Yeah, Ramsdale, by the way, was the other one that was recipient in that mix. I'm going to try to get you a chopper cam view of this one. Look at him just, oh my, oh man. He clobbered Wood. He clobbered Harrell there. He almost came out of it, kind of escaped clean. The other two, not so much. Yikes. What a madman situation there, and a tough little deal. I guarantee you those drivers that got into that one are not going to be too happy campers with some other guys for a bit. There's definitely a lot of words these drivers throw at each other, but they still have at least enough respect to know that when something bad happens, they either got to take it with responsibility or they best know how to get around it. So right now the field going to double up again. 30 laps still remaining for sure. More time to be had though. So here we go, double filing them up now. We'll have 29 laps coming into the line. They're remaining. The pressure's on right now. from corner number 4 here down to the straightaway once more. Macklin, Dalton, gonna be the two favorites, but Dalton has had the number all day. Can he continue the reign of terror? We're about to see. Green's back out. All pressures and hinders on that corner. Looks like Coleman may be getting a little bit annoyed back there, and he wants to start fighting. He wants to start scratching. He wants to start clawing his way up there. Knows he took a little bit of damage there on the front of the nose, too. That obviously cannot be too good with him. Wesley Donaldson moving into the second position now, so now he's after Dalton, trying to see if he can bring something to the table. Dalton trying to steer clear of him. Doy Woods, Tommy Ryan, and Coleman making some jumps up. Gorman, Calatani, they're all battling quickly. Macklin losing a lot of ground here. Right out the back and through the minors right now. Looks like Charles Van Slyke, he's got some problems. He's got a lot of problems. He's in pit road now. He's trying to make sure that caution doesn't come out, but I think he might not have to worry about that. I think he's got to worry more about what the heck these guys are doing up front. Doy Woods closing the gaps off, fighting quick with Macklin. Macklin trying to get the air to filter around himself, but I think the dirty air is just too much for the 30 to continue on with. He may have burnt too much of the tire up too. Trying to battle as hard as he did. Dalton and Dalton currently still dealing with Donaldson. Meanwhile, back in the pack, Jackson, Simley, Sturgill, all in that mix. Portman right in the middle somewhere in between with him and Calatani as well. Every driver for themselves here with 26 laps to go. There's really nothing at this point you can do. It's all about just driving the heck out of the wheel, making sure you've got a foot full when you can, and having to watch that off-track, off-pace, off-timing scenarios there. Side by side now, Macklin facing pressure. You've got Calatani on the left side. Just absolutely pressure times here and harder times for others to face. But again, when you're racing at this level and this caliber, you definitely know at the top of your head, you know what is going through and what you're dealing with and constantly facing up against. That's why these drivers never give in, they never give out, and they never give up. Or really can they? Either way, they have to do what is right for them and what they can possibly bring to the table. Sturgill now, keep the Johnny Walker 24 left in the inside. Macklin at this point just holding on for steam and holding on for speed. So now looks like the field's starting to kind of dwindle down even more around the track. Looks like they are starting to get a little bit more separated down. You can see how far Dalton is from the other drivers, except for one of them. Yep, Wesley Donaldson, he's right there with him. And taking a look at the pit strategy, both drivers did take tires and fuel, but I think at this point, this is just Dalton's way of wearing them out. He knows Donaldson's right behind him, but he doesn't really care all that much. Really, I think his focus is just let him wear his tires up and then just start shooting the gap on him when the time is right. It's a raw dispower and flay here. But if you know how to best out the best of drivers, you know how to beat the rest out. Pretty good showing here as well from some returning drivers like Lucas Gordman here. It's been so long since we've seen him out on the track here, and it's so long since I've raced him. It's been quite a time and quite a while. I haven't really dealt with him for this amount of time, but man, it's good to see him still at least holding it up, at least still bringing it down to the house. Galatani with a great showing here so far today. Even though he's had a few rough patches, a few rough hits, he's been pretty much in his comfort zone. He's been also running it pretty well too today. I know he's got that big little smash on the gas on the right side there on the truck, but doesn't really seem to really care too much about it. Donaldson right now currently fading off just a little bit from Dalton. As we take a look at our lap time here, Donaldson had a lot of speed, got a full 10th on Dalton, but this is where kind of the ship starts to sail away. And I made it very, very clear. Dalton probably is just trying to wear his tires, trying to wear Donaldson's tires out, so he can just kind of run him down from the gap from here. I could be very wrong. And Donaldson could somehow have a little bit extra, something to get to him. But man, he's got to figure it out now, in my opinion. $15 laps left to go. This is anybody's guess here. Donaldson, though, he really needs a win here. A win today and lock him into that playoffs, and the playoffs are coming ever so closer. It seems to me like Dalton's losing a lot of his speed on the straightaways here, getting a little bit back in the corners. I think Wesley right now may be actually trying to use the draft as kind of his ally here, and then using those hard exits to really build up the speed. I don't know how much though it's wearing out the right front or how much it's tearing it up down there. Credit where credit's due though, at least it's working as well as it is. Yeah, you can see too, he was getting a lot of speed in those corners, and it seems like 1 and 2, he's really getting a lot more on Dalton than Dalton's really giving me credit here. Well, how late it is, I'm surprised Dalton's actually struggling a little bit to kind of keep him back there. Again though, Wesley win this race. He's locked in. And he needs it. Dalton already took home 2 stage points. So now, right at the moment, he's tied with Macklin. If the WBD Diecast 91 though gets around that 19, he won't be able to jump ahead of Macklin. Coleman hanging around back down there too, so really this is now strategy and personification based here. when and where do you make your moves and when and where do you make your shots in the dark. Macklin now finally building somewhat some speed back. He gets it around the 24 of Sturgill. They're going to try to deep dive it around the 7 assembly. Swinging to the inside. Big runoff down in the turn. Man, they are not giving an inch here, and Simley knows this race is not quite played into the way he wanted to. Lane blade right off the corner and into the edges now. No there to run out from. Sturgill still trying to make a move around there from Simley. Simley giving up the time, giving up the effort. Macklin got it right ahead of him. Meanwhile, still battling hard for position. Donaldson not leaving Dalton. And look at this. I know what I said earlier, and I will immediately tell you guys, I can be a guy that has absolutely no clue what I'm talking about, but I can tell you, from what I've learned with Dalton is that, again, he can play possum, and then sometimes he actually is struggling. It's hard to really take into consideration, but if Donaldson didn't have to drive as hard as he did to catch him, I honestly think Dalton right now actually be struggling a little bit to get around him. I'm going to be real with you. Still, we only have about 9 laps left. And it has still been the 19. I think at this point right now, he's using a bit of the dirty air and a bit of the dirty position that it's flagrant. It's kind of being a flagrance to that 91. Down now to the final corners here, and it is looking more and more like this could be a 2-truck battle, with one looking to possibly kind of catch the other off the neck of the woods, and the other trying to stay ahead of the curve as much as possible with whoever is behind him. 7 laps remaining. Again, it's just so close right now. It's hard to really get back to see where the other drivers are, because really there's not a whole lot of other drivers that are as close as they are, nor is they're really making any charges to the front. Macklin, the only one that really did anything there in that terms of that case, getting around Sturgill again, and then Simley. But everyone else, well, let's just say just pretty much what Ramsdale's doing is just trying to hold on at this point. Down final 5 laps here. Anything goes at this point. It's pretty much now just detrimental to how you make your corner, make your run. Every distance and every move at this point now starts to become sacrificial. And I think Donaldson's kind of figuring that out. I think he's now finally kind of got something here. Top 5 on your screen. Dalton needs to be careful here. Donaldson's got a great little bit of speed on those drafts, and he is catching him ever so closer in the corner. One wrong move from Dalton. He's going to get a nudge in the back, and I think that might be what Donaldson's looking for. Or he could be trying to play a different strategy, but it's really hard right now to pass, so I think he knows he's going to have to do something here. If I'm Donaldson, I think honestly my only opportunity is just try to get as close as I can without nudging him into the entry, but catch him in the corner and just slightly graze him to then get that runoff from there. But again, it's so hard to do, but both drivers pretty much just dead even with each other through the turns. Dalton, though, looked like he built a little more power there on the backstretch. Chopped off about 100 of a second there in that turn. And then got another 100 of a second back on the backstretch. Now open the door up for a couple tenths. It is extremely close right now. 2 laps to go here. Get the feeling and the pressure. Is it starting to get to both of them, or is it starting to get to one over the other? I think it's starting to get to Donaldson here. He's hanging in there, though. He's going to have 4 more corners to try to get him. This is your chance, Donaldson. Do you want to be in the playoffs, or do you not want to be there? Last chance opportunity coming up. White flag in the air. Dalton leads it. This will be a final battle. Dalton getting further away. He's starting to drive it in deep and starting to hold it in. That downshift too, I think, really is starting to seal the fate a little bit. Maybe found a last gas, a last remnant, if you will, to put this one in the books. Donaldson may have all but missed this time and lost everything outright through corner number 4. The Sim 500 number 19, Tyler Dalton, is going to be your winner here today. He takes it home at WWT Raceway. Now even with Macklin in terms of the most wins this season in the Truck Series. And now has even more points to his name and his credibility. What a performance. What a race. Well, we've seen this already a little bit this season, but what's one, not another one? The Reign of Terror celebration time. Celebration worth this while and worth this time. Your Sim 500 results now on the screen. And what a day it's been. Tyler Dalton, clean sweep, but not without a little bit of company. Wesley Donaldson taking home a nice second place. Tad Coleman going third. Tommy Reinhart, Charger, 15 spots, goes fourth. Joey Woods going fifth. Eddie M. Calatani, 6th, 7th. To Lucas Corbin, 8th. Aaron Nash Jackson, 9th. To Brian V. The Macklin, the Mac Attack, sneaking in the top 10. Scott Simley, he's going to bring in another top 10 as well for him and his team, rounding out your field. As always, it is time to begin the talk show. As we get to our top 3 drivers now on the show, Chad Coleman going to come away yet another podium. And Chad, a pretty strong one, I will admit, too, because you had to pretty much kind of dial this thing in, and you had a heck of a war in the mid-pack just to get up to this. How was it like just trying to figure out how to pass around here?
It was a challenge. This track's not really easy to pass on, with it being flat and kind of like a semi one groove racetrack. Like 1 and 2, you had to be kind of in the middle. 3 and 4, you could move a little bit, but 1 and 2 was all middle, or yeah, pretty much all middle. And I tried running higher and turning the truck down in the middle of 1 and 2, right there at the end of the race, and all I did right there is I killed the rear tires. So the last probably 10 or 12 laps of the race, I was just skating.
Skating around, just trying to get anything to kind of settle back down. But at the end of the day, though, Coleman, I know obviously you had a lot at stake and a lot on your mind and on your plate. But I mean, to be able to come away with a top five, let alone a third place position, I mean, how crucial was that to kind of get yourself set up as the playoffs draw nearer and nearer?
Yeah, I think for the playoffs, we pretty much got whatever we're gonna get. So we'll take that. We'll roll on in. I don't know, probably 30 laps to go in the race right there. I got in the back of the 4 truck going into turn 3. Didn't really mean to, but I know he lifted a little earlier than I was kind of expecting, and I got into him. I bumped him. I mean, I didn't hit hard, which it didn't. I don't guess it took much, but I turned him. So I didn't mean to do that. So I told him in the server I was sorry, but I mean, he can take it or not. I mean, this racing more than likely, but we'll go on the next week.
And next week it will be. As you come away today, though, who do you want to thank here?
Thank everybody with GOAT, and thank you for broadcasting, and good win to Tyler. Him and Wesley had a pretty good race right there, and I had a pretty good seat for it.
Certainly had to indeed. There in that third spot, Chad. Congratulations, bringing it on home, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Chad Coleman, ladies and gentlemen. He left nothing on the table there, but neither did this guy. Wesley Donaldson, what a performance there, sir. If anybody I thought honestly was going to try to take down the Reign of Terror himself, I would have thought Macklin, but instead, you kind of snuck in out of nowhere, and you're kind of a bit of a hidden terror for these guys a little bit. And honestly, I got to ask you, I mean, you was charged, and how come the last about 5 laps that thing was just given out?
I think I was just driving it too hard. I wasn't trying to save it all. I was more surprised than anything that I was keeping up with Tyler, so I was like full charge that whole last run. So it finally gave out and started sliding. I was looking around to find a little bit more grip, especially in 1 and 2 on the exit of 2, but yeah, it was sliding a lot.
Sliding a lot, sliding down to the corners here. I'll ask this too. I mean, you had looked like a little bit of the draft help kind of on the straightaways. It seemed like the corners you would catch them and then you would miss it, then you reel them back in. I mean, in that situation and that kind of deal, I mean, how hard is it really just even trying to find that extra little bit of groove to even try to catch someone like that, let alone the Reign of Terror himself?
Oh, it's so hard, especially with a guy like Tyler. He's so fast everywhere that I was I felt pretty good all race, and then just riding behind him, it was actually helping me a bit. But I knew I had him a little bit on entry in both corners. I was a little bit better in 3 and 4, but I just couldn't figure out that exit of 2. But it's you ran a good race when you're sticking to his bumper for an entire run like that.
Certainly the case indeed. You put on an absolutely wonderful performance. So, as I ended out with you on that terms there, who do you want to thank you for the second place today?
Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for putting on this broadcast. Thanks to Go Racing and Sim 500 for putting on these races. It's a ton of fun. And then shout out to my Instagram, WBD Diecast. I make custom diecasts. That's about it.
For sure there. All right. Well, nevertheless, there, a great performance there, and good love there for your WBD diecast. Wesley, congratulations. Take this one on home for second, buddy.
Thank you.
Wesley Donaldson, ladies and gentlemen, the only driver in that final stage that put up a fight to the Reign of Terror himself, but as you kind of guessed by now, he takes it home anyway. Dark, once again, sir, you've took another win. You got another victory. I know, obviously, at this point, stage points are just pretty much just bonus and toppings on the cake, but now, with this, you've actually matched Macklin for the most wins in the Truck Series, and you've actually surpassed him in terms of the points. I mean, how big is that to you just by hearing that?
Oh, definitely. Always with those playoff rounds only being 2 races, if you get wrecked out, having those stage points could very well be the difference between making it to the next round and not.
Be the next difference to make on the next round, indeed. Well, I'll ask this then in this case here with I believe we got like what, 2 races left or one more race before we head into those playoffs. Timing being everything and Crucial being as close as it's ever been before. Really, where do you lie and where do you sit in terms of trying to make or break this final race, if you will?
I don't know. Phoenix is probably my worst track in iRacing, so not the best situation for me going into the championship race if we get there. Might have to try to do some extra practice, see if we can figure out something there. But tonight at Gateway, this was definitely a date I had circled, one of my favorite tracks. And after Macklin didn't take tires, I thought the only thing that was going to beat me there was going to be a caution. But I got to hand it to Wesley. He did a hell of a job to stay there with me. He put a lot of pressure on me. I tried to save a little bit of tire at the beginning of that run because I knew I had really good short run speed, and I sort of evened out on the long run. And saving tires, it just sort of got tight on me, and it took a bit before I could really get back into a rhythm. And at that point, we were pretty even, so I was doing all I can just to hold him off. So hats off to him. He put up a hell of a fight.
He put up a heck of a fight indeed, and in this case, though, you'll be able to round out this one and take the victory. So, with that said, I will ask you this question, as you always are pretty well known here, sir. Who do you want to thank here?
Yeah, just all the Sim 500 Mafia and all the admins here at GOAT and Sim 500. We all put a lot of work in to make sure everything goes smoothly in these races. Hate it for my teammate Glenn Campbell there that had a unfortunate incident. He was running up front there, and so was Shannon. But hopefully we can all get back there and have a good finish next time.
Certainly the case indeed. Nevertheless, Dalton, congratulations bringing home yet another win this season.
Thank you.
Dalton's reign of terror continues. What a performance. What a show, though. Great showing there for Donaldson. He gave it everything he had. Credit where credit's due to him. Credit, of course, Dalton, as you see our fans packing out of the stands here and getting ready to head off. We're heading off too, race fans. Thanks so much for tuning in. We love you guys. Thanks so much for the show. We'll see you next time. The green is flying high.